Hi guys, so I'm going to read Journey into Mystery number 98. So this will go in my Thor playlist and the 1960s Marvel playlist. So Journey into Mystery. Think you have troubles? Wait till you see what happens to Thor when he meets the human Cobra.
Even the thunder god cannot match my great power, as you are now about to learn.
Also, Tales of Asgard. Odin battles the ice giants. The mighty Thor, challenged by the human Cobra.
It isn't fair! It isn't just! I've lost the one thing I want most in the world. Lost it because I'm Thor. Because I dare not disobey the command of Odin, ruler of the gods.
And written by Stan Lee, illustrated by Don Heck, lettered by Art Simic. Even a thunder god can go on the rampage. Even the mighty Thor can lash out in a fit of uncontrollable temper. Perhaps you never thought of superheroes possessing the all-too-human qualities of jealousy, frustration, and violent anger. But Thor has emotions, even as you and I. And so, as our thrilling tale begins, we find him giving vent to a raging burst of fury.
Why must I remain the mighty thunder god? My identity has brought me nothing but grief and loneliness. All I need do is stamp my enchanted hammer to return to my human form as Dr. Don Blake. But even as Dr. Blake, happiness cannot be mine. Not without Jane Foster, the girl I love. But she's gone now. She's left me, never to return. And all because of Thor. Thor! The very mention of that name makes my blood boil. If only I had been able to tell her that Thor and Dr. Blake were one and the same. But I couldn't. Odin forbade it. Even when I learned she loved me. We said we could never marry. A thunder god may never marry a mortal. And so, though my heart ached for the want of her, though my arms longed to embrace her, I could never tell her my true feelings. I could never speak of my love.
You said there was something you wanted to tell me, Doctor. And now, you're so strangely silent.
I'm sorry, Jane. It seems to have slipped my mind. It was inevitable that she would one day leave me. Inevitable that she would think my silence meant I didn't care. And then, it happened.
Goodbye, Doctor. You may reach me at Dr. Andrews' office if you need me.
I know you'll be happy as my Nurse Jane. Suddenly, Dr. Blake's reverie is broken by a resounding thunderclap. And a rumbling, distant voice, heard only by the man who is Thor. My son, I summon thee to Asgard, thy home, for I have words to speak to with thee. It is Odin. I cannot disobey him. I must return to Asgard. An interval later, for time as we know it means nothing to the gods of Asgard, mighty Thor stands before the throne of his father. I can sense thy grief, my son, and so I have called thee to me to receive my advice. Put all thoughts of the human Jane Foster from out of thy mind. Forget her, else you will never know peace. No, lordly Odin, that I can never do. Even the god of thunder cannot close his heart upon command.
He dares turn his back on thee, Odin.
Stay thy hand. I forgive him, for I must share the sorrow of my favorite son.
Returning to his lonely office again, as the lame Dr. Blake, the heartsick man comes to a momentous conclusion.
I must get away. To forget. I'll go to some distant land, where nothing will remind me of the girl I've loved and lost.
But fate works in mysterious ways. At the other side of the globe, as Don Blake wings his way towards the east, a bitter, jealous man watches his kindly employer with hate-filled eyes.
I think we are close to finding the total cure for snakebite, which we have been seeking, Claus.
That is gratifying, Professor Schechter. You must be very pleased. Bah! Another great discovery will be credited to the famous Professor Schechter, while I, his assistant, slave for a measly wage. But if something were to happen to the good professor, if I could get the credit for his discovery, well, why not? In this lonely, isolated region of India, who could prove it was not an accident? It will be so easy. I will let the Cobra bite both Schechter and me, but I will take the antidote, and I will not give it to him. It will be foolproof. It will seem like an accident, because we will both have been bitten. And I can say I could not get the serum to Schechter in time.
Later, in Bombay, an interesting tourist overhears a startling bit of news.
It is true. The good Professor Schechter is dying from the bite of a poisonous serpent.
Professor Schechter, my old teacher, the man they call the Albert Schweitzer of India. It can't be.
He has done so much good for our people. This is a tragic day for our beloved India.
I had hoped I'd never again find the need to become Thor. And yet, perhaps I can help my old friend, if I get to him in time.
And none can travel as fast, or as unerringly, as the God of Thunder. It seems I can never abandon my legendary identity. For, when there is a need, Thor must respond. Driver, you will find the payment for this ride on the back seat of your vehicle. I must now seek a faster method of travel.
Huh? Who said, let he go? Out the window. I must be seeing things. A flying man.
Onward, my trusty mallet. Let your surging power carry me to the mountain village, where Dr. Schechter lays dying. Moments later, after a skyborne flight at almost unimaginable speed, there is the village below me. I hope I have arrived in time. Within seconds, Thor reaches the bedside of the fatally stricken professor.
Heed my words well, mighty Thor. I fear that some new menace is at large in the world, and he must be found and stopped before he can bring untold harm to mankind. I speak of the Cobra.
The Cobra?
Yes. Once he was my assistant, an envious, untalented ex-convict named Claus, who I had tried to rehabilitate. But he plotted my murder, allowing a poisonous cobra to bite me and denying me the life-saving antidote. However, there was one thing he did not know. You fool! You tried to make it look like an accident by having the cobra bite you too. But you didn't know that I had been experimenting on that cobra. He is radioactive.
I've been bitten by a radioactive cobra?
Even though the antidote managed to save his life, it changed him. By some freak of chance, he seemed to develop the instincts, the powers of a cobra itself.
Moments later, a saddened, vengeful thunder god leaves the professor's deathbed. I shall find the Cobra and destroy him, no matter where he flees, no matter how great his newfound power. He shall feel the wrath of Thor. I now know that this is what I needed. The thrill of battle, the menace of a deadly foe, the promise of danger, and high adventure awaiting me. At the nearest airport, Thor learns he is minutes too late.
Ah yes, Sahib. The one you described did board the jet plane a scant few minutes earlier. He forced the pilot to change course and head for America.
There are no other jets here that I may follow in. Therefore, there is only one way for me to overtake my quarry. Stand back, all of you, while I whirl my hammer. And now for the Cobra. But, after a few miles of flight, mighty as my hammer is, there is yet a faster way for the God of Thunder to travel. I shall create an unbridled typhoon of almost limitless speed and blinding force. And then, riding the typhoon as only a thunder god can, mighty Thor travels across half the globe at speeds which match those of the fleeing jet itself. It is only fitting that the God of Thunder should travel on the wings of the wind. Finally, at Idlewild Airport, when the creature who now calls himself the Cobra makes a dramatic exit from his commandeered jet, a pair of piercing eyes follow his every move. I shall follow my foe and learn of his plans before I strike. He slithers up and down, walks like the serpent whose name he has taken. He shall truly be a formidable opponent. But why has he chosen to enter that chemical manufacturing plant?
Hear me, you puny humans. I, the Cobra, demand complete control of this entire plant.
Are we seeing things? It looks like a half man and half serpent. A thing of unimaginable evil.
Here I shall manufacture gallons of Cobra serum to create a vast army of others like myself, to do my bidding and serve me without question. My power far exceeds that of a mortal man. I have the speed and cunning of a serpent, the deadly sting of the King Cobra itself, coupled with the brain and cunning of a human being. And so I command you to obey my every order, or else feel my fatal sting.
I have heard enough. You are deserving of no mercy, Cobra, and the only sting to be felt this day shall be that of my hammer, which hungers for your defeat.
With a stroke of luck, it's Thor!
Prepare for surprise, overrated Thunder God, for my power is still greater than yours, as you are about to find out. Not for nothing do I call myself the Cobra. For one single bite will my namesake bring certain death. As you shall learn when my Cobra thoughts find their mark.
Like so many others before you, with newfound powers, you talk about them too much, Cobra. And while you boast, I have time to prepare, to hurl myself out of harm's way, like this.
Fool! Do you think I limit myself to merely one weapon? Even a Thunder God, with all your speed, cannot dodge these. For they are capsules of deadly Cobra gas, made by transforming the Cobra venom into a dense, fast-spreading vapor.
My lungs, filling with the fatal vapors, must dispel them before it's too late! No matter how dense a vapor may be, the pounding gusts of wind I can create will blow every trace away within seconds.
You think fast, Thor, but do not prevail. You are merely postponing the inevitable outcome of our battle. For my power is still far greater than yours. Have you ever seen a snake wrap itself around its victim, Thor? In the same way, can the human Cobra reduce you to complete helplessness with a lightning-like toss of my unbreakable Cobra cord?
Is there no limit to his diabolically ingenious devices? So unexpected was his sudden maneuver that I carelessly dropped my hammer in surprise. Without it, my main source of power is denied me. Only if thrown will the enchanted mallet return to me. If it is dropped, it remains where it fell. I must find a way to retrieve it myself. Cobra, you will gain nothing by this useless feat. You have not even enough strength to hurl me through the window.
Oh no, I'll show you how much strength the Cobra has.
He swallowed the bait. He did not know that I turned back to Don Blake, as my enchanted hammer is out of my grasp for more than 60 seconds. And, as the thinner Blake, it is a simple matter to slide out of his Cobra cord.
Rushing outside to resume his battle with the mighty Thor, the unsuspecting Cobra pays no attention to the lame, puny man who hobbles back into the building.
Thor is gone, but that's impossible. How did he free himself?
Quickly, Don Blake seizes the fallen hammer, stamps it once upon the ground, and then...
Turn, evil Cobra! Thor! Turn and face Thor again! Face the one who will now defeat you!
He is plummeting towards me, about to strike with the accursed hammer. I must ward him off somehow, or I am lost.
How good it feels to leap into battle again, to hurl myself against a creature of evil.
Just what I need. This valve, which activates the flow of a liquid chemical forced blast pipe.
By a blind stroke of luck, the chemical released by the Cobra's sudden move is a blinding, stinging, acid-based formula, which strikes the Thunder God with enough force to destroy a dozen mortal men. Recovering from the tremendous impact with superhuman speed, the battle-hardened Thor once again hurls his invincible hammer, as a blood-curdling war cry rings out from his lips in a thunderous crescendo.
By the beard of noble Odin, O trusty hammer! Strike! Strike in the name of Asgard!
And then, amazingly, the almost impossible happens. Moving with blinding speed, as swiftly and as unerringly as the serpent whose name he has taken, the Cobra, having been bitten by a radioactive snake, is one of the few living creatures ever to be able to dodge Thor's mighty hammer.
Ha! Even your much vaunted hammer is not fast enough to match my superhuman speed.
By the gods! My hammer has missed the Cobra and crashed into that tank of chemical test gas above him.
The swiftly spreading gas vapors temporarily blind the surprised Thunder God before his hammer can return, allowing him to dispel them.
My eyes! I cannot see!
And, by the time the smoky fumes have blown away,
the Cobra has escaped, but I must find him.
Somewhere, somehow, he must be found. Meantime, fate displays a grim touch of irony as we find the Cobra about to enter a window. A very special window.
Just what I've been seeking. A doctor's office.
Yes, you guessed it. Of all the doctors in the sprawling city of New York, the Serpentine Menace enters the office of Dr. Andrews, confronting both the startled physician and his new nurse, Jane Foster.
Dr. Andrews? What is that?
I don't know, Jane, but he looks dangerous. Terrifying.
Even more dangerous than you can suspect, my good doctor, for I am the Cobra. But if you obey my every command to the letter, I may permit you to live a while longer. First, you must provide me with serums from your medicine cabinet. Serums which I can achieve my ultimate objective.
Doctor, you mustn't. No matter how he threatens us, you must not aid him.
Quiet, you young fool. If you don't wish to continue living, I do. Of course I will do what you say, Cobra. I am not looking for any trouble. What do you require?
I can't believe it. You're nothing but a coward. And to think I left Dr. Blake in order to work for you. Although he is lame and unglamorous, you'll never be half the man that he is.
Seconds later, the disillusioned girl sees a mighty figure streaking past the window, searching for his vanished foe.
It's Thor. If only I can attract his attention. You must notice this, mighty Thor. You must. The Cobra saw me. He's livid with rage.
So, you tried to defy the Cobra, did you? You shall live to regret that foolish deed. But not for long. Not after you have felt the sting of my Cobra darts.
No, you mustn't. Help me, somebody. Help!
At that split second, an awesome fighting-mad blue and gold-clad figure stops the flight of the deadly Cobra darts in mid-air. This time, you merciless fiend, there shall be no escape.
Thor! I still shall win the final battle, Thunder God. For if you make another move, an innocent girl will perish.
Don't worry about me, Thor. You must stop the Cobra, no matter what.
No, Jane Foster. I shall not allow you to be injured.
That's just what I hoped you'd say, you spineless fool. Oh no, farewell. I'll live only as the Cobra can. And remember, if you try to stop me, you'll be responsible for this female's tragic fate.
I'm one hair of her head, Cobra, and there will be not a place in the known universe where you will be safe from my vengeance.
Words. That's all you are good for, Thunder God. Spouting high-sounding words. But I do not fear you, for I have proven myself to be your master.
I've got to free Jane from that madman without injuring her. But how? Wait, perhaps there is a way. It's a long chance, but I must take it. Everything depends upon the Cobra not seeing me as I plunge from the window.
Now that I have defeated Thor, there is no one who can stop me.
You'll never defeat the Thunder God, Cobra. Just wait.
So far, so good. Now, everything depends on split-second timing. Made it! Now, Cobra, now let me hear your boast about how you have defeated me.
You haven't got me yet. I warned you the girl would die. No, don't drop me.
Fear not, Jane Foster. No harm shall befall you while Thor lives.
But the Cobra, he's escaping.
Time enough for him at some later date. First, I must take you to safety. In less time than it takes to tell, the disillusioned girl is returned to her office, where she remains just long enough to pack her belongings. And...
Goodbye, Dr. Andrews. I'm going to return to a real man and ask his forgiveness. Beg him to let me work for him again, if he'll have me.
Jane, wait! You can't! Jane!
we have no way of knowing, but perhaps in Asgard, noble Odin is watching the next scene with a satisfied smile. In fact, perhaps his was the hand of fate that arranged these matters, out of love for his favorite son. For it soon comes to pass.
Dr. Blake, Dawn, it's so good of you to take me back. I've been such a fool.
Not another word, Jane. We're together again, and that's all that matters. In fact, I'm sure that Thor himself would be pleased at how this episode ended, if only he knew. And so the saga of the Cobra draws to an end, but only for now, for the Cobra still lives, and while he walks the earth, plotting new dark deeds, who knows what the future holds for mankind, and for Thor. And now Tales of Asgard, home of the gods. Odin battles Ymir, king of the ice giants. Written by Stan Lee, drawn by Jack Kirby, inked by Don Heck, lettered by Art Simic. In the days of the gods, when the world was young, Asgard was menaced by the rampaging ice giants, determined to bring frost, desolation, and eternal night to the land of the gods. This is the tale of their attack, one of the greatest battles of all time, based upon the immortal legends of the Norse gods. In his imperial castle, on the highest peak of the tallest mount in all of Asgard, noble Odin, lord of the gods, hears the call to battle.
The trumpet blares! The time has come! I must destroy the ice giants!
Riding a golden chariot, drawn by his magnificent winged stallions, the ruler of all gods thunders through the skies.
Faster, my mighty mounts! My blade hungers for combat! My soul for this, for revenge!
Behold, Odin joins the battle. When he is slain, all of Asgard shall be ours.
But, though dwarfed in size by his gigantic foes, the valiant Odin draws back his magic sword, as his deafening war cry reverberates through the heavens.
Death to the enemies of Asgard!
Summoning the awesome forces of nature to his behest, the monarch of Asgard hurls mighty meteor bolts at the fearsome frigid behemoths who are menacing his domain. But those of the ice giants who survive the mighty blasts use their deadly ice clubs against Odin, trying to batter him from the skies. Unable to strike the swiftly darting chariot, they then resort to their most potent power. In unison, the ice giants unleash a titanic gust of frozen north wind, hurling their noble foe from his crazily spinning chariot. As the graceful winged stallions fly off, Odin lands atop the mountain on which the ice giants stand. Then, as his confident foes creep slowly towards him, mighty Odin draws back his magic sword and strikes, splitting the entire mountain in two with one incredible blow. Unprepared for Odin's sudden maneuver, the confused titans fall into the newly formed chasm, where the demons of Surtur wait greedily below to make them prisoners for all times.
Down, you marauding monsters! So plunge you to Surtur's fiery domain, where you shall menace Asgard no more.
But one frozen behemoth still remains. This, the mightiest, the most savage of all, is Ymir, king of the ice giants.
Victory is not yet yours, accursed Odin. My icy spear shall yet bring you to your knees. Ha! I have dislodged the peak on which you hide like a fearful flea. And now I shall end your reign forever. Not so, evil Ymir. While breath remains in me, I shall fight you, and by my beard, the victory shall yet be mine. Your words are brave, but your deeds make a mockery of them. Even now, as you retreat in cowardly panic, I shall seize you and destroy you.
But, reaching the arid volcanic area he seeks, the monarch of the gods suddenly stops, turns, and then... I have trapped you, Ymir. Before you can make another move, I strike this very spot, releasing the one force which can defeat you, the fiery smoldering flames from the depths below. And so, Ymir, the last of the dreaded ice giants, becomes an eternal prisoner on that barren spot, surrounded by a wall he can never penetrate, whilst noble Odin, ruler of the gods, returns to his throne in Asgard. The end. So next issue, Surtur the Fire Demon. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. If you have any requests you want me to do, just let me know in the comments, and I can tell you the date when I do the request. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.